All right. The Proud Boys. I was ecstatic to hear this morning that 4 of these pricks had been convicted of the most serious charge: seditious conspiracy. I'm not sure about, about the 5th one, but as I am putting this program together, 4 of them, including that goofy-looking fucker Enrico Tario. Seditious conspiracy. So, goodbye, boys. Enjoy the next 20, 30 years in the slam, if you live that long. The only one who was not convicted of seditious conspiracy is this freak creep named Dominic Pezzola. He was convicted. They were all 5 of them were convicted of very serious felonies. All 5 of them are going to prison. But the only one who wasn't convicted of the most serious charge was Dominic Pezzola. But as you've probably heard, this will give an awful lot of legal ammunition to Jack Smith, the special prosecutor, who now will go after the son of a bitch who caused this. This orange bastard, Donald Trump, who did this. You know, I can talk about how these attitudes, these anti-American attitudes, I shouldn't say anti-American, hell, I've been anti-American based on some of our policies, but the anti-constitutional attitudes of some of these scum, these filthy cockroaches that have crawled out from under rocks and dead limbs and shit and piles of garbage once Trump was elected. Scum, filth. And you know something else about the Proud Boys? This is something that really cracked my ass up. If you look at the, in a manner of speaking, if you look at the videos again, you'll see that these son of a bitches, these so-called revolutionaries, right? These revolutionaries, they had branded themselves. They had logos. They had shit on their jackets and their shirts. As if the logos put together by what? An ad agency, you dumb bastards? Oh, and didn't they look tough, huh? Their backward-ass baseball hats and their reflective sunglasses and all the body armor and all this other shit, right? Huh? Hey, we're tough. No, you're not. You're a bunch of pricks. You're a bunch of cowardly little bastards who would use the Constitution to destroy the Constitution. We were just exercising our First Amendment rights. Son of a bitches. The verdicts came after, 7-8 days of deliberations by this jury. Jesus, they had a lot of charges to consider, too. So it's one more milestone in the U.S. Justice Department's investigation of what happened on January 6th. You know, our legal system is very ponderous and slow-moving. The wheels of justice turn very, very slowly, and sometimes they don't turn the way that we think they should turn. But the Justice Department has gone after as many of these filthy pig bastards as they can identify from all the videos that were taken, and they took it themselves. Hey, Mom, look, I'm overthrowing the government. Look at my logo. I'm a proud boy. Jesus. This particular trial, from what I understand, was the last of 3 sedition cases that the federal prosecutors brought against the key figures in the Capitol attack. You know, they've already disposed of the, what was the other group? Stuart Rhodes Group, the Oath Keepers. Oath Keepers, my goddamn... Jesus, Oath Keepers. That's what I mean. The corruption of language by these son of a bitches. And the sedition charge, which was the proper charge. You know, I've heard from commentators today who said that the Justice Department prosecutors really rolled the dice when they brought seditious conspiracy charges because it's so difficult to prove to a jury. Okay, I admit, I don't understand that. I know what I saw. And what I saw was an attempt to overthrow the government of the United States. And it would seem to me that anybody involved in that, I don't give a goddamn if they were standing on the back of this mob of brain-dead white men, any of them brought to charges should have been convicted. That's why I wouldn't make a good juror. Okay, let's hear the testimony. Okay, let's see the evidence. Okay. But I think I saw on January 6th, as the cameras were rolling, I think I saw all I needed to see. I don't agree with the government of the United States many times, but it's usually not the Constitution I disagree with, although there are parts of that I disagree with too, but it's whoever is in power. And we have had some scum bastards. We've had war criminals. We've had cheaters and liars and thugs, but nothing like this orange bastard. And if you listen very closely, you can hear hammers knocking nails into a coffin that is going to be the Donald Trump presidency for the third time. Son of a bitch. But this sedition charge, it goes back to the efforts by the Union in the Civil War, the North, to protect the federal government against these filthy bastards who wanted to continue to support slavery during the Civil War. And it was also used in two separate trials against 9 members of this other group of little dickheads, the Oath Keepers. 6 of those jerks, including Stuart Rhodes, the founder and leader, were convicted of sedition, and each of the others were found guilty of different serious felonies. Lock these son of a bitches up and leave them there. And let them have their logo emblazoned little toy soldier outfits too. Oh, look, I'm an Oath Keeper. Well, I'm a 3%er. Well, I'm a Proud Boy. Jesus Christ. According to the New York Times, quote, as the verdicts were read in the fourth floor courtroom, Mr. Tario, Mr. Pizzola, and the other defendants remained steely. Steely? Okay. And with the exception of the Pizzola head, the men were found guilty of conspiring to obstruct the certification of the election. All 5 defendants were convicted of a third conspiracy count as well, which accused them of interfering with the duties of members of Congress that day. And the part I like about the whole thing is this. On the conspiracy counts alone, seditious conspiracy, these punk asses could face a maximum of nearly 50 years in prison. And they were found guilty of other felonies as well. Lock them up. Just lock these pigs up. You want to change the direction of the government? There are ways to do that. And it requires work and organization and dedication and a belief in something that represents truth and justice and fair play. These pricks, these little Nazi dress-up boys, were nothing but that. Little dress-up boys. Oh, I'm going to be a revolutionary. Where's my logo? Oh, let me put it right here in front. Jesus Christ. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.